The orbital academy above the twin star system was famous for two things: brilliant young cadets from every species, and constant, harmless jokes between them. The alien girl named Lyrana enjoyed those jokes more than anyone else. She belonged to the Vessery race, tall and graceful, with silver-blue skin that shimmered whenever the light touched it. She had been top of her class since her first month, and she walked with the confidence of someone who believed she understood the whole galaxy. And then a human arrived. His name was Daniel Hale, and he was the only human in the entire academy. Humans were rare in this part of the galaxy. Most species only knew them through distant records, old rumors, and dramatic stories that painted them as either unstoppable warriors or primitive wanderers from a forgotten world. Lyrana, who had never seen a human before this cycle, expected something wild, something strange, or at least something impressive. Instead, she saw a quiet young man with a simple uniform and dark eyes that carried no arrogance, no loudness, and no obvious power. He walked normally. He sat quietly. He spoke politely. He trained without trying to show off. He seemed painfully ordinary, so she made fun of him. Not in a cruel way, at least not intentionally. She joked with her friends when Daniel failed at the Academy's gravity track or stumbled during the magnetic field simulations. She laughed whenever the training drones circled him too quickly and he struggled to keep up. She would say things like, "Human reflexes are slow," or "He must be from a tiny world with weak gravity," or "Maybe humans just learn slower." Her friends giggled with her. Daniel always heard, but he never reacted. He simply smiled a little, almost like he expected such comments, and continued whatever he was doing. That calm response bothered Lyrana more than she wanted to admit. She expected him to be embarrassed or angry, or at least defensive, but Daniel just kept training quietly, kept attending classes, and kept listening without responding. His silence only made her tease him more, as if she wanted to pull some reaction from him. One afternoon, during a multi-species teamwork drill, the instructor paired Lyrana with Daniel. She did not hide her disappointment. "Oh no," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "I'll have to carry him through the whole exercise." Daniel simply gave a small nod. His voice was gentle, calm, neither offended nor sarcastic. Something about that unsettled her. She turned away quickly, pretending not to care. Their mission was simple: reach the top of a floating tower in the Academy's training dome. The tower changed shape every few seconds, rotating platforms and rearranging walls, requiring agility, planning, and trust between partners. Lyrana shot up the first platforms with grace, leaping like a dancer. Daniel followed behind at a moderate pace, neither rushed nor struggling. She reached the fifth platform before noticing that he was keeping up with her much easier than usual. She frowned. "You're not slow today." "Good day, I guess," he said with the same quiet tone. They climbed higher. Lyrana was still faster, but not by the wide gap she had expected. Daniel moved efficiently, almost too efficiently, as if he knew exactly when each platform would shift. His timing was perfect. By the time they reached the final section, Lyrana felt something strange. She was trying to catch up to him. She pushed harder, leaping across a wide gap, and misjudged the movement of the platform. It rotated sharply under her, and she slipped. She let out a cry of alarm as the ground far below spun in her vision. For a split second, she felt the terrifying drop. Then Daniel's hand grabbed her wrist. He held her with surprising strength, far more than she believed humans had. His stance was solid, his grip unshakable, and his calm expression did not change even as the tower shifted again beneath them. "Got you," he said softly. Lyrana stared at him, breathing fast, confused and shaken. She could not understand how a human, someone she mocked so often, had moved fast enough to catch her in mid-fall. He pulled her up gently and made sure she found stable footing before continuing the climb. He did not mention her mistake, did not tease her, did not even look proud. He simply treated it like something normal. They finished the exercise and reached the top together. The instructor praised their teamwork, but Lyrana could barely hear anything. Her mind was full of one question: How did he do that? She walked away without speaking to Daniel. Her friends teased her. The human saved you. But she ignored them. Something inside her refused to treat it like a joke. That night, she could not sleep. She kept replaying the moment in her head. The sure grip. The perfect timing. The calm voice. Humans were not supposed to have that kind of strength or precision, unless the stories were true. The next morning, Lorana watched Daniel more closely during training. He still looked normal, quiet, simple, ordinary, but now she noticed small things she had ignored before. He lifted heavier weights than she expected. He adapted to new drills faster than the Visari students who had trained there for years. His instincts were sharp, almost like he always knew what was coming next. Her curiosity kept growing. One evening, after classes ended, she found Daniel sitting alone on the Academy's observation deck. Through the tall windows, the twin stars cast a soft red and gold glow across the room. Daniel was watching them quietly, his hands folded, his posture calm. Lorana hesitated before walking toward him. She wasn't used to feeling unsure of herself, but today she felt strangely shy. Daniel glanced at her and smiled. "Hello." She sat beside him, hands pressed to her knees. "You caught me yesterday." He nodded lightly. "I couldn't let you fall. You moved fast," she said. "Faster than I thought humans could move." Daniel looked at the stars again, choosing his words slowly. "Humans are not as weak as the galaxy believes." Lorana felt a chill run down her spine. "What does that mean?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he tapped the glass window lightly. "Do you know much about Earth?" She shook her head. "Very little. Only that it's far from the central roots." "That part is true," he said with a soft chuckle. "But Earth is not what the galaxy thinks. We don't share many details about it." Lorana's curiosity sharpened. "Why?" Daniel turned to her, his expression gentle but serious. "Because humans grow strong in silence. Our homeworld trains us in ways other worlds don't understand. Gravity, storms, wild climates, unpredictable environments. Earth forces humans to adapt constantly." Lorana's heartbeat quickened. She had never heard a human describe their world like this. Daniel continued, "Most species evolve in controlled environments. Humans evolved by surviving everything the planet threw at us. That's why we learn fast. That's why we endure. That's why we can do things others don't expect." His tone was peaceful, not boastful, but it carried a quiet truth that Lorana couldn't deny. She whispered, "So the rumors, the old stories about human stubbornness, human strength, they're real?" Daniel nodded. "Not in the dramatic way those stories tell them. But yes, humans are built differently." Lorana stared at him, stunned. She thought she had understood him from the moment she saw him. She thought he was ordinary. But now she realized that she had only seen the surface. Then she asked the question she didn't even know she feared. "What else are you hiding?" Daniel's smile returned, faint but warm. "My homeworld holds many secrets. Some are not mine to share." Lorana leaned closer, unable to stop herself. "But you came here alone." "Why?" His eyes softened. "Because I wanted to learn from the galaxy, and because humans believe that understanding others begins with listening quietly." She thought about all the days she mocked him, all the moments she assumed he was slow, weak, or simple. Now she felt something uncomfortable inside her, a mix of guilt and admiration. "I misjudged you," she said softly. Daniel shook his head. "It's normal. Everyone does at first. But I shouldn't have." He turned fully toward her then, and for the first time since she met him, Lorana felt the weight of his gaze. It wasn't heavy or intimidating. It was steady, calm, and sincere. "You're curious," he said. "That's not a bad thing. Curiosity leads to understanding." Lorana's breath softened. "Then help me understand. I want to know more about humans. About your world." Daniel looked back at the twin stars outside the window. "If you truly want to know," he said quietly. Then someday I'll show you. Those words stuck in her mind long after she left the observation deck. She returned to her room, sat on her bed, and stared at her hands. Something inside her had changed. Daniel was no longer the quiet human she teased. He was a mystery she wanted to solve, a secret she wanted to discover, and a strength she wanted to understand. She didn't know it yet, but that curiosity would take her far from the academy. It would take her across unknown regions, into forgotten histories, and toward the one truth the galaxy had never learned about Earth. The truth Daniel kept hidden behind his calm smile. The truth of his real homeworld, and Lorana was determined to uncover it. Lorana woke early the next cycle, long before the academy halls filled with students. She sat by the wide window in her room, watching soft glimmers from the twin stars rise through the clouds. She thought she would feel embarrassed after learning how wrong she had been about Daniel. But instead she felt something else, curiosity mixed with a strange respect that she didn't know how to handle. She replayed every detail of their conversation on the observation deck. The calm way he spoke, the strength she had seen in his hands, the quiet certainty in his voice when he said humans grew strong in silence. None of it fit the picture she used to have of him. That day's lessons passed slowly. Lorana found it difficult to focus, because every time Daniel moved across the training dome or spoke during study sessions, her eyes followed him. He never acted differently after their conversation. He was still the same quiet human, still polite, still patient, still unnoticed by most of the academy. But now, Lorana saw more. She noticed how he adjusted faster than the others during simulations, how he calmly analyzed patterns others struggled with, how he pushed himself without ever showing frustration. There was something deep inside him, something he hid without effort. Later that afternoon, the academy's emergency sirens suddenly echoed across the halls. All students froze. The lights shifted to a dim amber, signaling a real situation, not a drill. Lorana's heart jumped. Emergencies at the academy were rare. An announcement followed. A transport ship had malfunctioned near the training dome and crashed into the protective barrier. The ship didn't break through completely, but debris and unstable energy fields now threatened the area. Some cadets were caught inside, and the rescue drones were struggling to reach them. Instructors rushed toward the dome. Students were ordered to stay back, but Daniel stepped forward without hesitation. Lorana saw him move before anyone else reacted. He wasn't running wildly. It wasn't panic. It was clarity. As if his mind knew exactly what needed to be done. His eyes sharpened, his posture shifted, and his normally gentle presence suddenly carried a focused intensity. She called out, "Daniel, you can't go in there." He didn't stop. "People are trapped." "But the energy fields, I'll be careful." Those 3 words held more confidence than she had ever heard from him. Lorana felt her chest tighten. She didn't know why, but she couldn't let him go alone. She ran after him. Inside the training dome, smoke drifted across the platforms, and the air shimmered with unstable electricity. A section of the ceiling had collapsed, scattering sharp metal fragments across the floor. Sparks rained down, mixing with flickering lights. The scene was chaotic, but Daniel studied it quietly. He looked like someone reading a familiar map. Lorana watched him kneel beside a damaged energy stabilizer. He touched the side panel cautiously, examining the pattern of flickers. His brow lifted slightly, as if he recognized something unusual. "How do you understand this?" she asked, breathless. "Energy behaves similarly everywhere," he replied softly. "You just have to listen to it." 1. She stared at him. His tone wasn't arrogant. It was almost humble, yet he worked with the ease of someone who had done this 100 times. A young cadet cried out nearby. Metal beams had fallen around him, trapping him in a narrow pocket. Daniel was the first to move. He approached the debris, grabbed one of the beams, and lifted it with controlled strength. Lorana helped steady it, watching in disbelief as he shifted the heavy weight enough for the cadet to crawl out. The rescued student gasped in shock. "Humans aren't supposed to be that strong." Daniel simply smiled gently. "You're safe. That's what matters." Lorana felt her heartbeat quicken again. His quiet strength wasn't a rumor or story anymore. She was seeing it right in front of her. They continued deeper into the dome where 2 more cadets were huddled behind a collapsed barrier. Energy waves pulsed dangerously around them. Daniel stepped into the shifting fields with careful precision. Each pulse came at unpredictable intervals, but somehow he sensed the rhythm before Lorana even saw it. He moved between the pulses, reached the trapped students, and guided them through the safe pockets of space as if he could see the invisible paths. "How are you doing that?" Lorana whispered when they reached safer ground. Daniel's eyes softened. "Earth teaches humans to adapt quickly. Unpredictable environments force us to learn patterns fast." Lorana shook her head slowly. "Your world must be terrifying." He chuckled quietly. "Sometimes." They rescued a few more cadets, until instructors finally arrived and took over. The emergency settled soon after. But whispers started spreading across the academy. Whispers about the human who moved through energy fields like he knew them, lifted beams like they weighed less than expected, and saved more cadets than even some instructors managed to reach. Daniel didn't react to the attention. He simply returned to his dorm room as if nothing special had happened. Lorana followed him. She wasn't sure if she should thank him or confront him with all the questions building in her chest. She reached his door and hesitated. Before she could knock, Daniel opened it. Already aware she was there, he smiled gently. "You're thinking too much again." She stepped inside, cheeks warm. "Of course I'm thinking. You scared me today." "I didn't mean to." "You walked into a dangerous situation like it was nothing." Daniel sat on the edge of his bed. "People needed help. You could have been hurt." He looked up at her. "I'm used to danger. Most humans are." Lorana suddenly felt a wave of frustration, not anger, but confusion. "That's what I don't understand. Why are humans like this? Why do you hide what you can do? Why don't you tell the galaxy who you really are?" Daniel's expression changed slightly, becoming thoughtful. "Because humans learned long ago that being underestimated keeps us safe. If the galaxy thinks we're weak, it leaves us alone. We don't seek power or control. We only protect what matters." His words held a deeper meaning she couldn't yet grasp. Lorana sat beside him slowly. "Daniel, what is Earth really like?" He didn't answer at first. Instead, he looked down at his hands, the same hands that had caught her during the tower drill. The same hands that lifted heavy beams today without fear. "Earth makes humans resilient," he said softly. "Our gravity is heavy. Our storms are violent. Our lands change often. Our creatures are unpredictable. Everything about Earth pushes humans to grow stronger." Lorana listened with wide eyes. "But there's more," Daniel added. She leaned closer. "Tell me." "Earth shaped the human heart," he continued. "Not just the body. We learned compassion because we struggled together. We learned patience because the world didn't bend for us. And we learned to protect others, because survival meant nothing without community." Lorana felt something warm move inside her chest. "That sounds beautiful," Daniel chuckled softly. "Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's harsh. But Earth gives humans the ability to endure, adapt, and keep moving forward." Lorana studied his face, realizing something she had never considered. Daniel didn't carry his strength with pride. He carried it with responsibility. She whispered, "I made fun of you for being slow, but you were only quiet." He looked at her gently. "It doesn't bother me. I've been underestimated all my life. But I don't want to underestimate you anymore," she said softly. "I want to understand you." A long silence filled the room. Daniel's eyes softened, and he shifted slightly, as if unsure whether he should speak. "Understanding humans," he said quietly, "means understanding why we hide so much." Lorana frowned. "Hide what?" Daniel rose and walked toward his small desk. He opened a thin tablet containing academy files and pulled out a small, matte black chip sealed inside a protective casing. "I didn't plan to share this," he said. "But after today, maybe you deserve to know more." Her pulse quickened. "What is that?" "It's a coordinate lock," he explained. A restricted one. It leads to something the galaxy doesn't know exists. Lyrana's breath caught. Something on Earth? Daniel nodded slowly. She stepped closer. Why show me? He looked at her with a softness she had never seen in anyone before. Because you're curious, but not cruel. Because you want to understand, not judge. And because you saw me today not as a weak species, not as someone beneath you, but as someone trying to help. Lyrana felt her face warm again, but she didn't look away. What do these coordinates lead to? Daniel hesitated for a long moment before answering. They lead to the place where humans changed, he said quietly. The reason we became what we are. The reason Earth became a world of strength. And the reason we hide our true nature. Lyrana swallowed hard. Daniel, do you want me to go there with you? Daniel. He held her gaze, and she saw something deep in his eyes, trust, hope, and a quiet longing she didn't fully understand. Yes, he said softly. If you want to see the truth of my homeworld, then come with me. Lyrana stood very still. A part of her feared what secrets Earth held, but a stronger part of her felt drawn toward them. Toward Daniel. Toward understanding something she had never imagined. She nodded slowly. I'll go with you. Daniel exhaled in relief. A gentle smile forming on his face. Then prepare yourself. Earth is nothing like this academy. It is wild, unpredictable, alive, but it is also beautiful. Earth. Earth. When do we leave? She asked. He tucked the coordinate chip into a small pocket. Soon. We'll have to travel quietly. The academy doesn't allow private trips during the term. Lyrana smirked slightly. Then we won't get caught. Daniel laughed softly, surprised by her sudden boldness. You're confident. I'm learning from a human, she said with a playful spark in her eyes. Daniel blinked, then smiled warmly, truly warmly, for the first time since she had known him. That smile stayed with her long after she returned to her room. That night, she lay awake again. But this time her thoughts were filled not with confusion but with excitement. She was going to Earth. She was going to discover the truth Daniel kept hidden. She was going to see the secret of his real homeworld, with her own eyes. And she had no idea how much it would change her life. Lyrana had imagined Earth many times during the long journey. She pictured a gentle world with forests, oceans, and quiet lands shaped by slow winds. But Daniel had warned her that Earth was unpredictable. And the moment their small shuttle broke through its atmosphere, she understood exactly what he meant. The planet was alive in a way no world she had ever seen was alive. Thick cloud systems swirled like great beasts, storms flashed across continents, and mountain ranges thrust toward the sky with intimidating sharpness. Even from high above, she could feel something powerful pulsing from the surface, an energy she could not name, but it felt ancient and restless. Daniel piloted the shuttle with a calm hand. He had taken a hidden route that bypassed all global satellites and avoided any detection. Lyrana watched him closely. His expression was focused but peaceful, like someone returning to a place he knew by heart. They descended toward a wide continent filled with forests and mountains. The shuttle landed in a valley, surrounded by tall cliffs and heavy fog. Lyrana stepped out and felt the ground tremble beneath her feet, not violently, but with a silent strength, as if the earth itself carried a heartbeat. "What is this place?" she whispered. Daniel stepped beside her. "This valley is older than human civilization. We call it the Cradle Zone." The air was heavy, the gravity stronger than the Academy's artificial environment. Lyrana felt her muscles working harder with every step. Even breathing felt different. Daniel noticed her struggle. "Earth's gravity is heavier than what you're used to. It'll take some time to adjust." She tried to stand straighter. "I can handle it." A soft smile appeared on his face. "I know." They walked deeper into the valley. Strange plants with twisting roots grew along the rocky ground. The wind carried a wild scent she couldn't identify. In the distance, thunder rumbled even though the sky was mostly clear. Lyrana felt small in the presence of such a world. She expected Daniel to explain everything, but he remained quiet for a long time. He looked around the valley like he was greeting an old friend. Finally, she asked, "This place, is it where humans got their strength?" "Part of it," he answered. "Earth shaped humans through challenge. Every creature here fights to survive. Every climate pushes life to adapt. Humans are not the strongest species physically. But our world taught us something more important, how to change faster than anyone else." Lyrana felt her curiosity deepen. "But you said there was a secret here. Something the galaxy doesn't know." Daniel stopped walking. They stood before a wall of rock that looked completely ordinary. But Daniel pressed his palm against one of the stones, and faint symbols lit up beneath his hand. The ground trembled softly, and the rock wall split open to reveal a narrow passage. Lyrana's eyes widened. "This is hidden technology. Ancient technology," Daniel said. "Not alien, human." Her heart raced. "Humans built this?" He stepped through the entrance. "A long time ago." Lyrana followed him inside. The passage opened into a massive underground chamber. The air was cool, and the walls shimmered with natural minerals mixed with old machinery. In the center stood a circular platform made of metal she didn't recognize. It glowed faintly as Daniel approached it. "This," he said quietly, "is where humans discovered what they could become." Lyrana's voice was barely a whisper. "Explain, please." Daniel turned toward her fully. Gone was the quiet, unsure academy student. Here, in this place, he stood with the confidence of someone who belonged to history. "Millions of years ago," he began, "Earth went through violent cycles, massive storms, quakes, volcanic winters, sudden heat waves. Most species went extinct again and again. But early humans survived, not because they were the biggest or the strongest, but because they changed. Our DNA learned to adapt quickly. Our minds learned to solve problems faster than nature could destroy us." Lyrana stepped closer to the glowing platform. "So this chamber recorded that?" "It enhanced it," Daniel said. "This place wasn't built when humans were primitive. It was built much later, when early civilizations found these natural adaptation fields. They discovered that certain minerals here emitted strange radiation that encouraged evolution." Lyrana felt a chill. "Evolution? On purpose?" "No," Daniel said gently. "Evolution that humans learned to understand. They didn't force it. They respected it. They observed how Earth shaped them, and built this place to honor their growth. This chamber became a training ground not for the body, but for the spirit. It reminded humans of where we came from." He placed a hand on the platform. It glowed brighter. "This is why humans adapt so fast. Why we endure. Why we hide our strength until it is needed. We come from a world that demanded resilience." Lyrana felt overwhelmed. "Why keep this secret? This could change how the whole galaxy views your species." Daniel lowered his gaze. "That's exactly why we hide it. The galaxy doesn't handle powerful species well. It fears them, or tries to use them. Humans learned that sometimes the safest path is to seem unremarkable." She understood. If the galaxy knew humans could grow stronger under pressure, it might try to control them or destroy them. Lyrana looked at Daniel with new understanding. "You came to the academy alone so no one would see your world through you." "Yes," he said softly. "I wanted to learn without drawing attention. But then I met you." She blinked. "Me? You were curious from the start," he said with a faint smile. "You teased me." "Yes. But your eyes were always watching. Not with cruelty. With questions you didn't know you were asking." Lyrana felt warmth spreading through her chest. "I wanted to understand you because you confused me." Daniel laughed softly. "You're not the only one confused." She stepped closer, feeling the weight of Earth's gravity pulling on her but refusing to show weakness. "Daniel, why bring me here? Why show me something no off-worlder has seen?" His voice softened. "Because you saw me as a person, not a story. You listened. And because a part of me trusts you more than I expected to trust anyone." Her breath caught. He was close enough now that she could see the faint reflection of the glowing platform in his dark eyes. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. "That depends," he said. "Do you want to understand humans fully? Not just their strength but their heart?" Lorana nodded slowly. "Yes. I want to understand everything." Daniel's expression deepened, touched by something warm and quiet. "Then there's one more place I want to show you." He turned and led her deeper into the chamber. Another door opened with a soft hum. Beyond it was a wide cavern filled with natural light pouring through cracks in the ceiling. The floor was covered with plants, and in the center was a pool of clear water glowing with faint blue light. Lorana stepped closer. "What is this?" "This pool," Daniel explained, "contains minerals from Earth's early oceans. They carry the same energy that shaped early humans." She gasped softly. "Is it dangerous?" "Not to you," he said. "It's gentle now. But when humans bathed in these waters long ago, it helped them think clearer, grow stronger, and understand themselves better." Lorana knelt beside the pool and touched the surface. It rippled softly, sending warm sensations up her arm. It felt like the water itself welcomed her. She looked back at Daniel. "Earth is nothing like I expected. You are nothing like I expected." Daniel sat beside her. "And you're nothing like I expected either." She smiled softly. "Is that a compliment?" He nodded. "It is." For a long moment, neither spoke. They listened to the soft water, the distant rumble of earth shifting, the sound of wind whispering through the cracks above. The world held them gently, yet firmly, as if reminding them of the strength both carried inside. Finally, Lorana whispered, "I made fun of you because I didn't understand you. I judged you before I knew anything. But now, I want to see humans the way you see them." Daniel looked at her with gratitude. "Then, you already understand more than most." She looked up toward the sliver of sky visible through the cracks. "What will the Academy say when we return?" Daniel exhaled slowly. "They don't have to know where we went or what we found. Some truths are too powerful to share." Lorana nodded. "I'll protect your secret." He smiled softly. "Thank you." She touched the glowing water again. "Daniel." "Of course. What do you want from the galaxy? You, humans, hide your strength. But what do you truly want?" Daniel thought for a moment, then spoke with quiet certainty. "We want peace. We want to learn. We want to grow. We don't want to rule the galaxy. We want to understand it. But we will always protect each other, because Earth taught us that survival is nothing without unity." Lorana felt her heartbeat warm. "That is beautiful." Daniel looked out across the cavern. "Earth made us this way." She stood slowly, adjusting to the heavy gravity. "Then I'm glad I came here. I'm glad you trusted me." Daniel rose as well. "I'm glad you wanted to come." For a moment, they simply stood together, the ancient chamber glowing around them, earth trembling softly beneath their feet. Lorana no longer felt like someone studying a new species. She felt like someone witnessing the soul of a world. She finally understood why Daniel walked so quietly at the Academy, why he listened instead of boasting, why he hid his strength. He wasn't weak. He was shaped by a world that demanded humility, resilience, and depth, and now she carried that understanding with her. "Ready to return?" Daniel asked gently. Lorana smiled. "Yes. But I'll never see you the same way again." Daniel smiled back. "That's good. I'm not the person you thought I was." "No," she whispered. "You're far more." They walked back toward the shuttle, the chamber closing behind them, as if sealing the secret once more. As they rose into the sky, Lorana looked down at Earth, the wild, powerful world that shaped Daniel, and she knew her life had changed forever. She had discovered the secret of his real homeworld, and she would never forget it.